Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to our live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. We even have the man himself. We have Hudson the cat here, which is very exciting. Hope you are all doing well. It is pouring with rain here, so it's going to be a rainy, snuggly kind of live stream. I'm going to do my best to answer as many questions as I can. So if you do have a question, please start it with question in capital letters, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm just going to have to give Hudson some dreamies right now because that's what he wants, and that's what he gets. Yes, my goodness. So it has been a busy time lately. I just got back from a cruise on board Norwegian Breakaway. I stayed in a studio solo cabin, which was very, very interesting. It's like an inside cabin that I'm used to, but much smaller. And I did all kinds of scary things. I did a ropes course. I walked the plank. I got stuck in a water slide twice. So yeah, very, very exciting. My goodness. So it's nice to see Hudson, isn't it? He very rarely comes to these live streams anymore just because if he's comfortable, he's a cat and he doesn't want to. But it's nice to see him for sure. So yeah, also the exciting news is the Cruise Globe app is now live. I have had questions about this every single day since we launched the website. When is the app coming? The app is coming now. It is live right now. You can download it on the Apple Store. You can download it on the Android Store. It is free. It has everything that you like in the website, but now it's in an app. So it'll keep you logged in, all that kind of good stuff. Yes, if you're liking it, please let me know. Thank you very much for this comment that says, loving the new app. Hoping future cruises will be available soon. Yes, we're talking days now rather than weeks. So it shouldn't be very long until we have that live. So that's very exciting. At the moment in Cruise Globe, you can see all of the cruises that you've been on. You can see where they are live, but it doesn't go out into the future. And we are going to be sort of mocking those up now. Actually, future cruises are going to be a little bit longer. Sorry, I misspoke. Pre-2015 is going to be very soon, though. That's the one that's coming up next. So exciting. This question says, if I was looking for the most chilled out MSC ship in the fleet, what would you advise? Virtuoso looks a little rowdy. The smallest, the oldest MSC ships, I think, are more traditional, are calmer than the bigger ones. So generally, just go for an older, smaller ship, and it'll be a bit calmer. I don't think any MSC cruise ship is particularly, it's all quite lively. You know, that's the MSC cruises thing, but it's good. I took a cruise most recently on Preziosa. That's the most recent older MSC ship that I've been on. So check out those videos. Oh my goodness. So many comments already. So nice to see you. Oh, Jonathan says, I'm on Breakaway in December, trying to decide between Vibe Beach Club and the Thermal Sweet Pass. Any thoughts? So I had Vibe Beach Club on this cruise that I just took. I didn't go anywhere near the Thermal Pass part. So it's kind of hard for me to answer those two parts. Depends how much you like going in the spa. I'm not really a spa person. And I think it just depends on the cruise because we had a lovely, lovely warm weather cruise, had an inside cabin. So having Vibe Beach Club was like our own. It wasn't, obviously we were sharing it with other people, but it was like that became our balcony. Every time we would go out on the balcony, we would just go there. So for me, Vibe Beach Club, but I do know a lot of people really, really love the Thermal Suite, Spa, all of that kind of stuff. June's Travel says, Hudson looks fit and healthy today. He is doing pretty good. Yeah, he's doing all right. Yeah, Pete says Preziosa was quite chilled. Yeah, I took some of my friends on Preziosa. I took them on their first cruise there. Don't have a drink for this live stream. This could be a long live stream. But yeah, they both really enjoyed it. So all good. Matthew says, looking forward to pre-2015 cruises is the last bit of my Cruise Globe. Yes, me too. That data didn't exist pre-2015. So we are going to be, using the data we have since 2015 to assume what happened back then. But it's a pretty good guess, I would say. So I tried to, because obviously I use my phone as the webcam. You're watching this through my phone. So I can't show you the app on my phone. So I have tried to record a few things. Let's see if this works. I don't know, to be honest. So this is what I'm trying to show you. You can see it there. Let me just get rid of my things. This, for me, it's on that side. It might be on that side for you, but this is the Cruise Globe. So what it is it's an app now, which is very exciting, where you can log all the cruises that you've been on, and we get the data from the cruise ship so that we can mark where the cruise actually went. So this is mine. You can see I have quite a lot in Europe. I've got a transatlantic there. That's the Queen Mary 2 one. This was a trip that I took to Alaska, and all of those are kept in here. So I've only got a few clips to show you. I messed it up. I didn't do it very well. That's why it looks a bit funny. But anyway, gives you a good idea of what it looks like. And I love to see everybody else's. So please tag me, share them. And they're great, great fun. Could I do a Norwegian fjord cruise and enjoy it without doing any planned excursions? Absolutely. I do that all the time. I don't think I have done some excursions in Norway, but not normally. If I was booking one right now, if I was going with my family for a week, I wouldn't do any cruise line excursions. Yeah, no, I don't think I would. I have done some. I did some when I took a cruise on Britannia with my mum a long time ago. I did a very small part of a Viking sort of press trip. We did 3-4 days. We did some excursions there. But every other time I've been, I've been with MSC, I've been with Royal Caribbean. I've never decided to do excursions really. So yeah, all good, no problem. Just do a bit of research, work out if you do want to go and see this thing, how you're going to get there. There's normally buses, you know, it's quite organized for cruise ship travel. So you'll be totally fine, totally fine. Statement, hit the like button, says James. Yes, if you can do that, that would be absolutely lovely. Jackie says, on my iPad, I don't have the moderator powers, but I can answer some questions. Yes, very much appreciate it. Thank you to all the moderators who look after these live streams. I will say it's very nice to be doing the live streams in my own house. I do them on cruise ships, but it's just a lot more out of my control. You know, this is, at least I can control this room and this microphone and this computer and this Wi-Fi. On a cruise ship, you know, I never know how the internet's going to be. I never know if someone's going to knock on the door. My worst nightmare is to annoy the other people who can hear me, so I'm always a bit quieter. So it's nice just to be at home. It's all in my control, which is cool. Worst case scenario, I can just hang up the live stream and we'll be fine. Yeah, my mum says we went to the troll wall and couldn't see it for the fog. Yeah, we did do some excursions on that trip. And yeah, it was very, very foggy, very foggy. I've been back since and done the same things, not on cruise line excursions, and been able to see a lot more. So yeah. Did you do an excursion to Pompeii or did you go on your own? So I did an excursion that was just a bus. Basically, it was like Pompeii on your own. I don't think I would do that again, because when you do an excursion that is blank on your own, they decide how long you're on your own for there. So we went to Pompeii. It was so hot and I couldn't find anywhere to get any water or a drink anywhere within Pompeii. I lasted about an hour and a half in the heat without a drink before I had to leave just to get a drink, because it was so hot. If you're going, bring your own water, bring your own bottle of water. But anyway, that meant that I left about an hour and a half after being in the town, and then, you know, waited another hour and a half for the bus back, because that's how long the on your own excursion was there. Obviously, I'd have to get my own taxi if I was going by myself. But that's probably what I would do. The troll wall sounds like an online comment section. Kind of does, yeah. Yeah, didn't you do a lovely husky dog trip? That is true. Yeah, that was when I did my northern Norway cruise. That was a fantastic excursion. But also you don't have to do a cruise line excursion to do that. Like that company, you can just book it yourself if you want to. Do you tell the cruise line if you are celebrating a special occasion? I never have. I do remember a long time ago, long time ago, on one of my first cruises, it was my dad's birthday. And back then you used to get, you know, birthday cake and stuff that you don't get now. So I do remember that. But now I wouldn't. I don't think I ever have. Some people do, but I do see a lot of people who are very disappointed, as in, I went on board and I told them it was my anniversary and nothing happened. That, like, I wouldn't expect anything to happen. So yeah. David's in here. Hello, David. Says, woohoo, Northern Norway. Yes, David was on that cruise with me. The cruise where we had some rough weather. We saw the Northern Lights twice. Fantastic cruise. But yes. Oh, Neil says, told them it was our honeymoon and got cake. That's great. Like, I'm all for that if you can get something that's great. But as long as it wouldn't have ruined your cruise if you didn't get any cake. Right? Like, it's just a bonus if you're lucky. You might as well tell them. You know, it's not a secret, right? If you are on your honeymoon or an anniversary or a birthday or something like that. But just don't expect something like that, because most cruise lines now sell things like that. If they want, if you want your room decorated, you can buy it, that kind of thing. Leo says, will more data be available on cruise maps from before 2015? Yes. So if you imagine, we have a lot of information since 2015 about how a cruise ship has gone from, Barcelona to Valencia. We know that route based on after 2015. Obviously, it doesn't exist pre-2015. So if you took one in 2013 and it did do a little loop-a-loop, like that is lost to history. There's no way you're going to know that. At the moment, you can still add them to Cruise Globe. It just doesn't have the route. So what we're going to be doing really is if you tell us where the cruise went, we can tell you 99.999% sure you probably went this way. And if it is, the cruise you took in 2006, like you probably don't know that you didn't go the most common route anyway. So that's going to be, I think we're in the days now rather than the weeks. So very, very soon, that's going to be fabulous. Fabulous. Yes. So that is coming soon. I want to just show you this one, if this works. So this is inside the Cruise Globe. This is my list of cruises that you can see here. So you might recognize these from my videos. These are my most recent cruises that I've been on. And what you can do is you can play your cruises. So talking about how it uses the real data, you will see some little quirks in there, which I think are very, very cool. But this was my Norwegian Spirit cruise that I took in Asia. So you can do this for any cruise that you've been on since 2015. Very soon, it'll be any cruise before 2015 as well. And it's completely free, this app. I just want to keep saying that because no matter how many times I say it, I still get questions. How much does this cost? It is free. It's completely free. Colleen says, have you ever noticed that people who speak negatively about cruising have never been on a cruise? I don't think I would really listen to someone who has never been on a cruise but wants to speak very negatively about it. So I don't think I really have, because I just wouldn't, just not interested in that conversation. But yeah, there's plenty of people who don't like cruising who've never been on a cruise. I guess I get a lot of comments online from people who would never go on a cruise and it looks like the worst thing they can imagine. I'm just like, yeah, a very good imagination if this is the worst thing in the entire world you can imagine. But yeah, I just try to, there's so many people having great cruises. I can't talk to everybody, right? So I might as well focus my energy on the people who are, actually interested in this topic. That's what I try and think. Play us the Ambassador cruise. That was the cruise that went nowhere. There is nothing to play for you. It's just a zoom to London Tilbury, which is, yeah. I would like to do another one where we go somewhere. That would be good. Cruising in Norway in 2 weeks, geared up for the cold and rain. Do I need waterproof gloves? David, I'll let you answer that one, but I would say probably yes. I don't know, it's still quite early, but I'll let David answer that one. If you have any Norway questions, just David has the answer. Rosa says, I'm itching and nervous to book my first cruise. I think this is completely understandable and very common, because you're going into a world that a lot of other people know about and you feel like you don't know anything. But you've got to remember, the point of the cruise line is like a third of people who go on a cruise have never been on a cruise before. That's pretty standard. So their job is to make it so that you know where to go and what to do. And you can always ask the crew anything. They're more than happy. They must get some funny questions, but yeah, they're there to help you. That is literally their job. They're so nice. It's really hard to describe, because I've never been anywhere else in my life where people are as nice as the crew on cruise ships, and just genuinely helpful and happy. So yeah. Tracy says, how hard is it to get all your paperwork together when going to multiple countries, like the visas? Easiest places and hardest places regarding paperwork. I don't think it's too hard. It just requires a little bit of prep. If I'm, at the moment traveling around Europe, I don't really need anything. So that's the easiest. If I'm going somewhere like Japan, on those cruises that I've taken in Asia, we have needed to do more paperwork, but a lot of it has been paperwork that we've done while we were there, as in you're in the ship and then a piece of paper shows up and it says, oh, for our stop to Vietnam tomorrow, you need to fill in this piece of paper. So that's not too hard. And yeah, I have my, different ones for America and Canada and things like that. But it's not too tricky, not too tricky. Nothing like it used to be. You know, I feel like once those of you who cruised just after the pandemic will know we used to have to fill in forms for every single country and get different approvals. And I'd be going on a cruise and like I'd have a stack of paper proving all of my COVID tests and my vaccines, and this is for Belgium and this is for Germany and this is this and this, and that was so much. So I feel like since then it's very, very easy. Very easy. Book that cruise, you will not regret it. There you go. I mean, we are biased here. We are biased. But if you just look at the statistics, sometimes I look at Cruise Line International Association, they have all of their surveys that they do, and the return to cruise rate is so high. Like, it's very rare for someone to take one cruise and then not take a cruise again. Obviously, some people, you know, life situations happen and they can't take a cruise. So the amount of people who would want to take a cruise again is probably even higher than those who do. And it is very high. It is very high. For my recent back-to-back-to-back cruise, would that be best on one map or three? So on these physical maps, I mean, it is up to you. You basically just tell us the start and end date and we join the gaps. Depends if you want it more zoomed in or more zoomed out, depending on where you went. As far as Cruise Globe goes, it doesn't really matter. Do you want to count it as 3 cruises or do you want to count it as 1 cruise? It's up to you. If you want to add, you know, all we're doing really is taking what you tell us as a start and end date and then drawing the lines in the middle. So up to you. I think if I was staying on the same ship, I would just count that as 1 cruise, even if it was 3 weeks, you know, back to back to back. If I was changing ship, then that's a different cruise for me anyway. Jamie says, other than COVID, haven't ever had to worry about paperwork, passport control or things. Cruising makes it seamless. Every time I go through an airport, then I appreciate cruising even more. It's so nice to get on a cruise ship and not have to go through all of the, you know, just waiting around airports and that kind of thing. Leo says, as long as I can remember where I went on a cruise, I can get the route. Yes. I mean, you just need to tell us, go on Cruise Globe, just tell us the ship, tell us where you got on, and when you got on and where you got off and when you got off. We'll do everything in the middle, but we just need to know the ship and we need to know where it started and ended so we can, you know, draw the line in the middle. Wonder how many people who've never been on a cruise and say it's the worst thing ever actually take a cruise and end up loving it. Probably quite a lot. It's kind of hard to study that stuff because if someone was they were so set in their ways about hating cruising, they're probably not going to say that they were wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, things change a lot. You know, cruising changes a lot in 10 years, 20 years. So even if you did think it was terrible and you really, you know, 20, 30 years ago, you really didn't want to do formal nights and dress codes and you thought that was a terrible idea, maybe a cruise line like Virgin Voyages comes along and it just throws everything. So whatever you don't like about cruising, other than being at sea, if you're someone who just doesn't want to be at sea, not a lot you can do about that. But I think for most people, I lost my banner. Please remind me if I lose my banner. It disappears sometimes, and I'd like to have it there because it took me a long time to make it. Hope you like my free little thing there. Thank you so much, everybody, for the questions. There are so many, so many. Have you been any cruise lines that I've not been on that I'd like to go on? So the one mainstream cruise line I'm missing is Holland America, I would say, because I've done most of the other biggest, you know, by passenger numbers. Holland America is like a big gap in my cruising history. I'm looking for a cruise that is not so long. Quite often they're quite long with Holland America and they're just not really where I am at the time that I'm there and where I want to go. So yeah, at some point I think that would be nice, but yeah, we will see. We will see. Yeah, some comments about getting COVID on a cruise. Yeah, I mean, when you hang out with other human beings, there's a risk that you're going to get ill. Like that's a risk that you have to take when you go outside. And yeah, I would rather take the risk. You know, I cruise a lot, and I always say, you know, I used to get ill so much more when I used to commute on the train and sit in an office because commuting on the train, I don't think they ever clean those poles that you're holding on to. I don't think they ever clean the machines. I'm sure they do, but not as much as a cruise ship, that's for sure. And also in an office, everyone has to be there. So everyone who's ill still has to go to work. And it's different on a cruise. You know, if you're feeling ill, you don't have to go to the theatre. I'm sure some people do, but you don't have to. And I used to get ill a lot more, considering I fly quite a lot as well. You know, I feel a lot better now. Yeah. How many future cruises do you have booked? Let me think in my head. 4. Yes. Wish we had the washy-washy team at our workplace cafeteria. Exactly, yes. They had washy-washy on Norwegian, you know, with the guitar and the singing and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, older Holland America ships have bathtubs. Yes, so I have cruised on an older Holland America ship when it was a Fred Olsen ship. And on that ship, it was a small bath, but I was very grateful for it. I really liked it. Yeah, Pete says if you went to a restaurant every night and then the theatre every night on land, you would have an increased risk of catching stuff. Exactly. If you were outside, you know, if you were outside for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you went to the beach and you know, did all of that stuff, you just see a lot of human beings. Like, unless you're, I don't even know how luxurious a cruise you could get where no one else is there. But that's not the cruises I'm doing. Interesting comments in here. Thank you so much, moderators who look after these. I really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Is there a record for the most cruises done by a person? You know, I've met people who have spent, you know, I've been on this ship for 3 years, like straight. There's people who, when you go to the loyalty meetings, they will say, it's Barbara has done 869 days with Princess Cruises, that kind of thing. And that's just normal on a cruise. So, you know, there's got to be someone who spent decades and decades and decades. There's probably someone who, you know, retired at 20 and now they're 80 and they've been on a cruise ship ever since. Somewhere. Obviously, the crew would take that record. Yes, for sure. Kendrick says, do you still get as excited for your upcoming cruises as you did before? Yes, I get as excited. It's in a different way, though, because it kind of feels like, because I have all of different things to do at work before the cruise comes up. I know I did when I worked in an office, but when I worked in an office, I used to have my cruise ship on the screen and I'd move it on every single day. Whereas now it sort of feels more like it comes faster because I'm more running out of time. If that makes sense. But the actual cruise, yes, of course. I try to do a lot of variety in cruising. I go to a lot of different places. I think if I could just do, say, Royal Caribbean, which does very well for YouTube content. If I just cruise with Royal Caribbean over and over again and I just stuck to the same place in the Med or something, it will be different. It will be great, but it'll be different. But I always have, you know, I'll do a river cruise, I'll do a luxurious cruise, I'll do a cheap cruise, I'll do an inside cabin, and then, you know, I'm looking forward to my next cruise where I have an ocean view cabin, that kind of thing. So yes. Yeah, Dan says there has to be people that have spent more time on cruises than on land. Yes, absolutely, for sure, definitely. Yeah, not crew as well. You know, some people do cruise a lot. Yeah, David says met someone on Fred Olsen who's done over 100 cruises with just that line. Yeah, these people exist. You know, they exist. I do find, you know, I get exposure to a lot of extremes being on the internet. So, you know, I meet people who will spend, you know, £40,000 on a week-long cruise, which I didn't know those people existed. And at the other end, and people who, you know, I meet people who have saved for 10 years to go on this cruise, and it's just, yeah, it's so extreme. You know, I went to Sierra Leone to stay on a hospital ship. So, yeah, we keep things different here, for sure. Keep things different. What would be my dream theme cruise? Oh, I like a theme cruise where I just put together all of my favorite things. It's just Emma themed cruise. That would be so good. That'd be amazing. We can have, like, instead of having wine tasting, you just do Pepsi Max flavor tasting, and we can all do that thing where you do the drink and you have to work out which one's Pepsi, which one's Coke. That would be great. I'd have musicals every single night in the theater, every night, a big musical. I don't know how we would do this, but I would do it. And you know, I'd have in the buffet, I'd have like ice buns, gingerbread. It would be great. It'd be a great cruise for me. Yeah. Oh, Diabetic says, what an amazing resource to have. All your cruises recorded in one place. Yes. That's exactly it. So with the Cruise Globe, I feel like cruising, I don't think this, but I feel like some other people don't think that cruising is that glamorous or exciting as an industry. So we sort of get ignored as far as technology goes. That's what I feel like anyway. So with the cruise globe, this is just what I have always wanted, but now I have the power to make it. And I want to make it the best, whatever you want. I want to make it in there. So if you have any comments, any questions, please email us. Just email hello@thecruisemaps.com and we'll add whatever we can. Like, we're just going so fast trying to do pre-2015, future cruises, all kinds of other things. We do have live in there now too. So if I show you this, we have live ship data. So you can see where every ship is live and in 3D, which is really, really cool. So you can search for the ship. You can just pick a random ship and zoom in, which is what I was doing here. And I found Norwegian Star, which is the cruise that I was on recently, which is so cool. But yes, so cool. I love this. I love seeing where they dock too. I think that's really useful because sometimes cruise ships dock miles away and this is where they actually are. For real. For real. Just so cool. I have all my ships that I've been on favorited so that I could just keep an eye on them. And I love it when they meet up. I know it's strange, but I love it. It's a good hobby, right? It's a good hobby. Do you have a travel agent you recommend for booking cruises? Yes, so go to my website, click on book a cruise, and then I have all my recommendations on there, split by, different countries and what kind of cruise you would like. Oh, I know a few crew who have been using it to track their cruises too. Yes, their cruise globes are going to get very busy, very fast, I'm sure, but super cool, super cool. Mine's getting pretty busy. At the moment, it doesn't include river cruises, so it's not a complete picture, but it will be very, very soon. Very soon. What is my favorite specialty restaurant on any cruise line and why? So the one that comes to mind, because I most recently did it, is I went to I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember if it's called the Silver Fork or the Silver Spoon. All that I know is that I kept saying it wrong in my latest video. But I went to this specialty restaurant with my mum on board Morella, and I had a dessert, which was called What a Mess. And it was a big chocolate egg, and it smashed. And I got to smash it, and I made a mess all over the chairs and the table. And you don't normally get to do that. So that was fun. That was really, really fun. Did you go to the solo lounge bar hours on your recent cruise? I never actually got a drink from there. I wasn't cruising truly solo. So, I was sort of there to review the room, to sit and watch and see what everyone else was doing, which was kind of fun. But I saw, what goes on there. And I mostly just went in there for the cake. Gotta be honest. There wasn't like a soda machine in there. I think there is on some of the newer ships, maybe. Silver Fork. There you go. Silver Fork. Yeah. In my video, you will see that I call it Silver Spoon. And I'm sorry, but I can't change it. I can't change it. Do you suffer from cabin cough when you've disembarked? No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, I'm managing to do a live stream without a drink. So where is my drink? Because I did get some squash. It's not here, though. Nope. All I have is the Dreamies. That was my priority. Not the Silver Fork. Yeah. Silver Fork. I don't know. Silver Spoon's a brand of sugar. Yes, that's true. Do you like the freestyle machines or soda cans? This is my kind of question. So I think it's more complicated than just one or the other, because some cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, they have the proper Coke machines where you can put in 1,000 different combinations. And I think they're very good. I like those. If it's just going to be regular fountain soda, then I prefer a can. But if I can have Royal Caribbean do it best, where you get a cup and you can fill it up yourself, I don't need to be taking up space at the bar. I know I just want this Diet Coke. So I love that. Love that. If cruise ships would just install a vending machine, I could just swipe my cruise card down and get a Pepsi Max out. That would be great. Oh, there's no "the" on Silver Fork. Silver Fork. Fair enough. Yeah, this is my this is not my real cruise card, but it is my Cruise Globe cruise card of the Morella cruise there, if you can see that. So this is what we have inside the Cruise Globe now, which is very cool. I have a drinking bottle behind me. I do, but that's just for show. There's no drink in there. That is my Cruise Maps one. Cruise Maps one, yeah. What kind of music shows do they have? Are we talking about Norwegian still? Because I talk about a lot of cruise lines really fast. If we're talking about Norwegian, so I saw on Breakaway, I saw Rumors, which is the Fleetwood Mac show. I've seen that, I think, it's my fourth time seeing that show, but it's always good, so I'll always see it again. And they had a show called Red, White, and British, which I was totally prepared to be offended by bad British accents and I don't know, just limited choices of British artists because normally it's just the Beatles, let's be honest. But it was really good and it was about an hour long, which I was not expecting. But they were the two main shows on that cruise. Then they have the usual, magicians and comedians, that kind of thing. That's not my thing. I like the singing, the dancing, the costumes, the that kind of thing. Yeah, there was none of this like, all right, governor, cool, blimey, none of that. It was a really good mix, actually. Yeah, it was good fun. What do you rate celebrity cruises? I like celebrity cruises, so I have done some of the older ships. I took a cruise recently on Infinity, and I took a cruise on the newer one, Edge. There's a big difference, I think, between the newer and the older celebrity ships. I like them both. Edge, though, was really nice. That was a really, really good cruise. Reflected in the price. That was not a cheap cruise. I did that cruise with my mum, but it was good. It was good. I've never been on Enchanted Princess, no. I have done quite a lot of princess cruises. I've been on some of the older ones. I was on Golden Princess. I've done sort of Royal Princess. I've done Sky Princess. I took like a 4-hour trip on Sun Princess. So that was exciting. But yeah, Princess are good fun. Princess, I think it's all about the technology. And when the technology works and you get the wearable wristband, it is fabulous. I remember ordering cookies to my location, which was so nice. And hopefully it works more now because I haven't cruised with Princess for a long time. Which cruise line does the best non-theatre entertainment? It really depends what you like because, cruise lines like Norwegian Cruise Line, Carnival, that kind of thing. It's a lot of things like Deal or No Deal is very popular. Not my kind of thing, but I'm more than happy to sit and watch other people do it. But it just depends what you like. I really love going to a British cruise line like Marella and doing trivia, and the questions are things that I might have a hope of knowing. Whereas on a lot of the American cruise lines, I don't know which New York theatre this. I've never been in a New York theatre. I need the London theatres. Yeah. My dad's in here. Hello, Dad. He says, are there any new Captain Hudson books coming? Yes, we have two to come. I am the complete hold up on this. I will get there. It's just so many things going on all at once. But it'll be coming soon, hopefully. Can you say blimey again? There you go. Blimey. Sam says, do you think Marella will go bigger with their new ships? Their current Wi-Fi and balcony scarcity is holding me back. Yeah. The Wi-Fi I don't really think is a problem. If you're like me and you're working every hour of the day, it's kind of annoying because you have to buy it by the megabyte, and I'm a heavy internet user. I don't think it works out more expensive though, because it's not really that much more expensive when I look at how much I spend over a week. It's just it's more painful when you know that you're using something. I can't really explain it. That's the reason people buy drinks packages at the start so they don't have to pay for it, that kind of thing. But the Wi-Fi speeds were pretty good on my last Marella cruise. Balcony scarcity, yeah, older cruise ships, they just have less balconies, but I really enjoy their ocean views. I would be, more than happy to cruise in that cabin. If every cruise I had to take was in an ocean view cabin, I would be fine with that. So, yeah, but I think so. It's quite a long time till Marella make these new ships. So, yeah. Have you ever done a survey to figure out how much of your audience are non-cruisers? I've done just like a YouTube poll kind of thing. Have you been on a cruise? Yes or no? Obviously, it's a bit skewed because if someone, just watches me once, then they're less likely to sort of engage with the poll. So probably we get more cruisers answering the poll, but it was still sort of 50-50. 50% of people have never been on a cruise, have no interest on going on a cruise, and they're just curious. I watched a great video earlier about escalators and why the handrail goes faster than the steps. I'm not going to be an engineer for an escalator. It's the same kind of thing, right? Just curiosity. Yeah, Sam says, come on, Marella, we're excited for them. Yes, for sure. Time flies. I mean, the time is going to go regardless, right? So it is what it is. 50%. Yeah, 50%, I would say, for sure. Why aren't there more escalators on cruises? You know, I found an escalator on a cruise recently and I thought it was really strange. You don't normally have escalators. It was one of the Morella ones, I think. Yeah, interesting. Saw that escalator video. Sorry, I haven't watched it. Watch it. It's a really good video. It's really nicely done. I appreciate a good YouTube video. Saw it too. There you go. There you go. No, it's a good one. I've never been on Rhapsody of the Seas. No. Yeah. My mum says 3,200 guests on the Morella ships, so that's quite a lot more. Yeah. I can't tell you why the handrail goes faster. You have to watch that video. It's not my business. Also, that video was really interesting because it was kind of, I saw a lot of the comments that said this video is reverse clickbait because the title sounds not that interesting, but the video is really interesting. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, Morella Voyager had an escalator near the Future Cruise desk. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Mum. That's where I booked my future cruise, which is something I've not done since 2016. Maybe. I don't think I've booked a cruise on board. So, yeah. Have you heard about cruise lines overbooking people and people getting refused at the terminal? If you have an assigned room number versus a guaranteed and unassigned room, can this happen? So this is one of those things where you hear about it in the news because it is not normal. If this was a normal thing, this is not normal like planes. I know planes overbook people all the time. Cruises don't do that. And what cruises will do is if they do sell too many, they'll start sending out these emails that says, would you mind moving to this other cruise? We'll give you 100% refund and whatever kind of discount. So that's normally what happens. It's certainly not something I've ever worried about. It's definitely not a reason why I would book I'm not going to book a specific room. I'm still going to book guaranteed cabins. It's crazy. Like, if you think how many cruises there are, it's so small. It's so small. It's like the odd one, like one every 6 months, something like this happens. And you hear about it because it's interesting. So yeah, do not worry about it, please. Yeah. Didn't you book another Iona cruise when you were on Iona? I might have, but I didn't go to the desk. I booked it on the website, I think. But that's probably right. I did take my family on P&O. So I think I tested it out for myself and then booked it again. But I didn't go to the little desk. I did on Morella because you get the cabin assigned and you get onboard credit. And I was going to do it, so might as well. Have you been invited to behind-the-scenes personal tours of the bridge? Was lucky enough to be invited on Ovation of the Seas by the captain and the captain's staff. I have done, yes. I have to say, my favourite place to tour is not the bridge. I've seen bridges. I can't touch anything, can't do anything. My favorite place to go to is the laundry. It blows my mind just thinking about how many towels there are, how many sheets there are. It just blows my mind. And I always think about it, when people talk about, how much cruise ship staff get paid or whatever it is, they don't get paid enough. For the people who work inside the laundry, like, they deserve whatever they're getting paid. They deserve 5 times as much. I did my washing on Norwegian because I get a free bag of laundry. And, people are sourcing, people wash my socks on that cruise. However much they're getting paid, they deserve to get paid more. I love the laundry tour, yeah. The galley is really interesting as well, seeing all the food and I love seeing the pictures of how the food is supposed to look because it is so precise. It is like carrot. If you don't have carrot, wrong. So they will come out looking exactly the same. And they do, because, I'll take a cruise. Talking about going on Iona twice, I might take a cruise, order a meal, and then order it 3 years later, and it is carrot. It is exactly the same. Yeah, they didn't make me wash a bunch of sheets, but you're still like among the massive washing machines, and they're just piles of towels, and you can see them folding them up, and like, I don't know, just blows my mind. I know in theory, think about it, a cruise ship has 4,000 guests and 2,000 crew, 6,000 people. They at least have 2 towels each, probably. Blows my mind. What has been the best cruise ever? For me or for anybody ever? My favorite cruise is a cruise I took. It is this one, actually, that I replayed here. The cruise that I took on board Norwegian Spirit. Let me just pop this one. This was my favorite cruise. Hopefully this is the right one. I don't know. I called these 1, 2, 3. I did originally record some other videos, but I couldn't put me next to them. But this is the one, Norwegian Spirits. You can see there from Tokyo. Tokyo. So cool. Such a good cruise. Also, that was the first cruise ship that I ever went on. So I went on her again. So obviously she has a nice place in my heart. I was on a press trip on this cruise, so I had a bath. You know, all the things came together for that cruise. It was really, really good. Really good. How do you get to go on the behind the scenes tours? Mostly you just buy them. On Norwegian, I just pay for them. I do get I used to, I don't know if you do anymore, but you used to get with the loyalty status, like a cut down version. So I've done a few of those, but normally it's just the thing that you pay for. It's just like an excursion. And honestly, I prefer to do that kind of excursion rather than on the ship. Or on land, I mean, rather do it on the ship. What happens if someone breaks the law while on a cruise ship? Do they have a lockup on board? Yes, they normally have a little jail, a little brig, or sometimes they'll keep people in their room. They'll literally keep them in their room, and some crew member will be sat outside, just making sure that they stay in there until they get to the next port. But yes, they have security teams. They're prepared. They are prepared. Have you done a Caribbean or Middle East cruise? I've never done a Middle East cruise, but I have done quite a lot of Caribbean cruises. I've done the South, I've done the East, I've done the West. So I've covered up most of the Caribbean now. Yeah. Usually listed on the in-ship excursions section. You have to pay to walk the plank. Well, funny you should say that, because I walked the plank on board Norwegian Breakaway and that was free. But I know what you mean. But yeah, that was great. The ropes course is free on Norwegian Breakaway. And I just tried to do it when I thought not everyone would be there, so it would be quiet. But there were no queues. There was also no queues when I did the slide. So when I came back down, once I got released from the bottom of the slide, I went back up and I was the next person. Like there was no one between me. So yeah. An older lady was in room jail on my cruise in Australia. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Just think about it. There's thousands of people together. Like if you picked 4,000 people and you just watched them on land or anywhere. Yeah. Jamie says it was free. I assumed it would cost extra. No, it was free. The ropes course is free on Norwegian. I think some cruise lines, I think P&O maybe tried charging for theirs at some point. Maybe. Let me know if that's right. But Norwegian, it is free. Yeah, you literally just show up and then get put into the little harness, and then you're just allowed to go up there, which is crazy. There was a little zip line as well. It's the first time I've ever done a zip line on a cruise, so that was cool. That was cool. I couldn't take my proper camera up there though, which was a shame. I have like a one that goes here, and I couldn't take it just in case I got stuck, I guess. So all the clips are from the ground, sadly, but hey ho. Yeah, David says we did the free tour on Breakaway. They did the laundry, theatre stage, and kitchens. No bridge or engine room. Yeah, engine room is not really a thing on any tours. I did an engine room tour when I was on the ship in Sierra Leone on board Global Mercy, but that's very different. That ship was not sailing, and yeah, that's not a normal thing that you get to see. The bridge, I think, really you have to pay for the proper tour, and then you get to go to the bridge. Yeah. Oh, every time I watch your live video ads doesn't matter because it makes me want to book a cruise. I can't be held. Don't hold me responsible. I can't imagine my financial impact. It's bad enough myself, my own financial impact. But yeah, can you add the function to search cruise codes or names to help us find cruises on Cruise Globe, please? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe. What do you mean? Do you mean like if you go on a P&O cruise and it's called PO something something something, like a flight, that kind of thing? Maybe. I don't know. Because I think they're reused, so that probably wouldn't work. But interesting idea. Any idea you have, please let me know, because I just send it to the team and they either say, oh yeah, that's possible, or that's not possible. So yeah, keep saying things, please. Everyone like the stream so more people can find Emma. Thank you very much. Yes, it just helps out YouTube. YouTube likes it. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I am doing the Christmas cards again this year. So if you want a Christmas card from me, please join YouTube memberships or Patreon. I spent over £500 just on postage, which is why I can't send them to everyone. I'd love to send everyone a Christmas card, but I can't even imagine it. So yeah, I do podcasts, I do Christmas cards and sort of first updates and early access to videos and things in there. Normally the memberships get gifted to my mum, and my mum is always like, I don't want this. I see Emma all the time. Tracy, did you get one? That's very cool. I can't see anything here. Can we see you holding Rolo? My daughter wants to see it. I'm afraid no, because I can't stand up because I have my pajamas on. But here is Rolo. Here's Rolo. I have some good news about First Mate Rolo actually, because the way that it works is obviously you've all ordered, they're all being made and they're being shipped. And I thought that I would have to wait until they've all arrived before we get any money to donate. But I get it in 2 chunks. So I should be getting some money that we can donate to the charity this month, this week, hopefully. And then the next chunk will be once it's worked out, do they need to resend any, that kind of thing. So that'd be so good. I saw a video. So for those of you who don't know, we a long time ago started to sell these cats based on my cat Hudson. He's called Captain Hudson, and we sold about 9,000 of these in total. We raised a lot of money for a charity called Mercy Ships. They run hospital ships, and I went out to Sierra Leone to see, how that works on the ship. So I think we're up to about maybe $180,000 now for that, which is crazy. But we have recently launched this guy, which is called First Mate Rolo, after I adopted my dog Rolo. He's a Romanian street dog, so we're raising money to help them go out and they find all of these dogs that are abandoned like Rolo was, and they make sure that they have food and that they all live outside in the kennels, so they have enough hay, that kind of thing for winter. So the money that we've raised from these, we've sold 1,400 of these, is going to be a lot of, vet bills and things like that. So it is such a good cause. If ever you want to, if ever you sort of feel down about humanity, then I watch their videos and you see the before and afters of how they found this, dog by the side of the road, and now it's at someone's wedding, that kind of thing. Like, it's so sweet. My mum says you're not the first person to think that, and it's got to be about Captain Husband or I get that all the time. I haven't even seen the comment. Where is it? I can't find it. Yeah, my cat has husband. Yes, I get that all the time. Michelle says, funny thing, Muster Station was our favorite place to relax on the promenade. We'd be well placed in an emergency. Yes. Mine was the theatre on my last cruise, so that would suit me fine. Yeah. Captain Husband. Yeah. He's not. He's called Hudson. And he was the cat who we did have very early in this live stream. He did join us. To be fair, he kind of is. I suppose so. But yeah, my goodness. So the update really from me this week is about the Cruise Globe app and how it is now free to download. And if you are downloading it, please give us a 5-star review and a nice comment. I'm checking every single one on there, actually in the App Store. And it makes me so annoyed when someone gives us a bad review for something that is nothing to do with us. And someone will say, 1 star, I didn't get the email. Yeah, but 60,000 other people did. Like, it's not us. We have 60,000 users on the app in the globe now. So please, just to counteract the reviews that we get that are bad because it's nothing to do with us, please leave us a good review. Really appreciate it. I'm always looking in there like every few hours. So if you want to send me a message, put it in a review with 5 stars and I will see it. What is the best place in the ship if you want to feel the motion and rocking about? Book a balcony as high as you can at the front or as high as you can at the back. That's where you'll feel the most motion, and it is considerably more. Yeah, 1 star, my cruise had bad weather. It does feel like that sometimes, and people do leave reviews like this. If you've ever been on Cruise Critic, yeah, 1 star, water was too wet. Exactly. Please. Tell everyone about getting stuck in that slide tube. I would have liked to see that. Thanks, Bob. Yes. So I did a drop slide on board Norwegian Breakaway. I had a dream last night about the slide, actually. It was really weird. But I had a dream that I was on an aeroplane and I needed to go to the toilet. And when I went to the toilet, it was the slide. It was the little thing where you stand and the floor drops out. It's very stressful. If anyone can analyze dreams, let me know what you think that means, because I have no idea. But yeah, that was scary. So you stand in this little pod thing, the floor drops down, you fall down. You're supposed to go down, up, over a little loopy bit, and then, you don't go upside down, but you go over the loop and then you come back out. But I didn't. I got up to the top and I fell back down. And I stuck at the bottom, inside the slide. They have a hatch, and the guy at the top had already shown me where the hatch was because he thought I was going to get stuck. So that was good. So I knew I might get stuck. But I had to lay there and just wait in the water slide in the dark for them to come and get me. So that was good. And then they said, oh, well, it's probably, I was wearing a t-shirt because I had little bits of plastic on the straps of my swimming costume to like put the straps up and down. And that was too much plastic. So I had to wear a t-shirt. So they said, if you go again, now that you're all wet, you'll make it round. So obviously I was like, I have to make it round for the video. So I did it again and I didn't make it round again. But this time I got right up to the top and I was like holding on like this, but I couldn't climb feet first up a slide that was wet. So I had to just let it go and fall back down. How long were you down there before the hatch was open? Probably like 15 seconds. Not long at all, but it feels long. It was long. How do you make an unslippy t-shirt? I don't know. I think from what I have seen, the best way to do it is to be a man who can just wear shorts. That's the key. If you are wanting to wear anything on your top half, you're not going to make it round, as far as I can tell. Unless you wear a bikini that's just like a piece of string, but that won't make it round either. So I'm not really sure what you're supposed to wear. I went first wearing a bikini and it had like a clasp at the back, which had plastic on it. Sort of fair enough. That was like a little bit of plastic. So I changed into my swimwear, but it was literally like this big. The tiny little bits that you use to make a strap go up and down. But that was too much. Like they were very hot on the rules. Had to take out my earrings, had to take off this ring. You could not have anything going down that slide. So yeah. It was good fun. You will see it. Yeah, maybe a front clasp. Maybe, yeah. I bought two options. I thought that was quite a lot. But in future, I will keep that in mind. Do you do any flight and hotel package holidays or only cruises? I have not done any sort of other holiday in, I don't know, years, because I don't have the time. I'm very aware that this sort of career does not last forever. And while I can be on these cruises, I'm going to be on these cruises. I'm going to be going places and I'm going to be showing you guys. A little WD-40 goes a long way. I don't think they would let you do that. Yeah. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was great. It was good fun. Yeah. Yeah, that's strict about plastic on swimsuits. Yeah, really. I'll show you in the video because it was just the same little bits you would have on anything with straps, like a bra or a dress. Just I have two on the back of my swimming costume, and it was too much plastic. Yeah. It is what it is. Like, at least they are following the rules. And I'd much prefer them to be too safe rather than be like, it'll be fine. And then I get stuck. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to make it, I mean, it was good fun. For the video, it's good. You can see me getting out of the hatch. Like, hello. So, interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, maybe take off a silicone ring. Yeah, they will make you, anything that can come off, they will make you go off for sure. When will your new videos on Breakaway hit the NCL channel? So I'm going to first of all do my cabin video. I think that makes most sense. The solo inside cabin. So that will probably take, I haven't finished the script yet. I haven't recorded it. So that'll be a couple of weeks. And then for the full story video that's going on my channel and then also Norwegian's video on their channel, they have to link to each other. So they need to wait for each other. So that is probably going to be like another 3-4 weeks after the first one. So it's probably going to be a month or so. Let's say something like that. Don't hold me to it though. Some things just take time. Are you able to pack carry-on only? I've so far always had to check a bag. You can on a cruise. Yeah, I have been on cruises where I have taken what is a carry-on suitcase, but it is, it's a proper suitcase. It's just a small one. I have done that for a week. It's up to you. If you are somewhere that's warm, I will say it's a lot more helpful. A lot more helpful. I can't wait for that solo interior cabin video. Love that post. Looks so cozy. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting. I think for me, I know that I'm already happy in an inside cabin, so it's just sort of a step further. I do understand why not everyone would like it, but I liked it. I thought it was very, very snuggly and quiet in there. That's really all you want if you're cruising solo. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I don't think so. I like how it is 5 minutes till the end of the live stream, and I normally ask for these kinds of quick fire questions, and you have already got there with the quick fire questions. So let me know if you have any quick questions, because we have got a few minutes left on the live stream. I have not been on Azura. That's the only P&O cruise ship that I've not been on. Yeah. Does NCL have drug dogs? I didn't see any dogs, but I did see massive things outside every single port that said this is a drug-free zone. So they're taking it seriously. What is the worst cruise cookie? Oh, I don't know. I think there's a cookie that I didn't finish on Carnival Miracle. It takes quite a lot for me not to finish a cookie, I think. So probably that one. When is your next live? It'll be the normal time. So it'll be Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern next week. After this live stream, I'm going to record a podcast with Tony. So that'll be very interesting, from La Liga Loca. That'll be very cool. Did you find a cookie on Breakaway? I did find cookies. I did. They weren't ever in the solo lounge, though, which is where I thought they would be. I only found them in the kids' corner of the buffet. How tall am I? I'm 5'7". 5'7". Yes. Does your cat have fish breath? No, his breath smells of dreamies. To be fair, this is tuna. But no, his breath's not too bad. What was the best dessert on my last cruise? Oh, what was it? I remember having a dessert and being like, that was the best. I think it was some sort of panna cotta. I love panna cotta. To me, it just tastes like a Milky Way pudding. Have you had a Milky Way pudding? Milky Way is different in the UK and the US, so that's a conversation for another day. I have 5'7" vibes. That's cool. I think that's good. I think 5'7" is the most average woman height, isn't it? In the UK, anyway. Do you think there's an alternate life where you have a channel called Emma Cookies and you talk about cookies? Yes, that would be good. That would be cool. There's probably one where it's just Emma doesn't cruise. Emma does everything else that's not a cruise. Have I ever done back-to-back cruises? No. Nuh-uh. Best cruise home for a couple with no kids. Ooh. Depends if is your main thing you want to avoid kids. Because I know a lot of couples who don't have kids who still want to go on the go-karts, and they still want to do, bumper cars and the things that are on the more sort of family-friendly ships. If you want to avoid kids, do completely adult-only Virgin Voyages, always a good option. Something like Celebrity, something like Princess, they're a bit more, grown-up. Emma does only land vacations. I think it would be more expensive. I put together a post on my website, an article on how much I spent on all my cruises last year. And I'm pretty convinced if I had done the same thing on land, it would be more expensive. Especially when I look at my British Isles cruises. I think the train would cost more than that cruise. I got to be honest. Pizza tonight in the PJs. Yes. So I'm going to record a podcast with Tony and eat pizza. And that sounds pretty good. We're doing a giveaway of Cruise Globe merch on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, please head over there. Emma climbs a rock climbing channel. I don't think I have the strength for that right now, but maybe. Are you coming to Australia? I'd love to. It's my top of my bucket list place to get to. I don't think I can really while I'm running this business. I have so many fingers in so many pies, and the pies would burn and go wrong if I tried to go to Australia, because I want to go properly to Australia. I want to go for a long time. I'm not just going to go there for a week or two. So I'll get there one day for sure. Yeah. Have I cruised on Virgin? Yes, I have. Only for a cruise to nowhere, though. So I'd like to do a cruise that goes somewhere. That was just after the pandemic. But yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me for this live stream. That is, I don't know how many live streams, 210, something like that. And if you've been here the whole time, thank you so much. I wonder if anyone has been to or watched every single live stream. That blows my mind. But yes, thank you so much, everybody. I will be back the same time next week. In the meantime, please download the Cruise Globe app. It's completely free. It is so fun. And if there's anything in there that you would like in the world of cruising that's not in there, let us know. Just email us hello@thecruisemaps.com and we will make it the best thing ever. That is my plan. Best thing ever. Do you have ketchup ready? Yes, I do. I do. Yes. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend. Yes. Bye.